I never imagined the day would come when my own sister would throw me out of my own hotel. Loud music was playing, people were laughing, pretending to have fun, and none of them even knew who I was. Then I heard her voice, Emily, my younger sister, the one I had always protected growing up. She shouted, "Get that homeless girl out of here. She's ruining the luxury vibe." That sentence felt like someone had slapped me in front of everyone. I stood still, not because I was embarrassed, but because it hurt deeply. What made it worse was knowing that everyone in my family already knew this was going to happen. And no one tried to stop it. It was a warm September evening in Austin, Texas. The Red Cypress Hotel, my hotel, the place I had built with 10 years of hard work, was now being used for a fancy birthday party that felt fake. Emily walked into the hotel lobby wearing a shiny dress, her arm around her new boyfriend, Chase. Behind them were people dressed like they were going to a fashion show instead of a birthday party. I had just finished checking on the staff when she looked at me like I was trash on the floor. "Oh my God, who let a homeless woman inside?" she laughed. Then she turned to one of the staff. "Can you please take care of this? This is a private event." I did not reply. I just stared at her. She looked at me like she had never known me. There was no guilt in her eyes. No sign of love. James, the event manager, saw everything from across the room and ran over. His face turned pale when he realized who I was. "I'm so sorry, Miss Hannah. I didn't know they were going to do this. Do you want me to cancel the event?" I shook my head. "No. Let it go on." I needed to see how many people were in on this. How many knew and said nothing? The answer came quickly. Inside the decorated banquet hall, filled with white flowers and golden ribbons, I saw my parents. My mother was wearing the dress I had gifted her last year. My father stood nearby, drinking wine and chatting with Chase's family. They were not surprised to see me. They looked at me like I was a hotel worker. No one asked what happened. No one said sorry. Emily stood in the center, holding up a champagne glass. "Thank you, everyone, for coming. And a special thank you to my big sister Hannah, who secretly sponsored this whole night." Everyone clapped. I stood frozen. I had never agreed to pay for any of this. But when I saw my mother's happy face and Emily's proud smile, I understood everything. They had planned it all. They never asked me. They just assumed I would pay. I quietly pulled out my phone and texted Grace, the hotel's CFO. "Check all tonight's bills. If there's anything under my name that I didn't approve, freeze it." Then I left the room. No one followed me. No one asked where I was going. That moment made it clear I had never really been part of their family. To them, I was just a bank account with the same last name. 3 days later, I went to my parents' house in Lakewood, North Austin. I knew they invited me for what they called a talk, but it felt more like a setup. The house looked just like it did when I was in high school, except now the big oak tree in the yard was gone. In its place was a fake white bench, just like their fake kindness. My mother opened the door with a stiff smile. "Hannah, you're here. Come in. We've been waiting." Before I could speak, she turned and walked away like I was a late food delivery. The dining table was neatly set with the good plates my mom only used for special times. I sat across from my dad, who was nervously tearing bread into tiny pieces. Emily sat nearby, legs crossed, wearing a tight green dress, showing off like always. "You know," Emily said while lifting her wine glass, "my 30th birthday should feel like something out of a reality TV show." I did not say anything. I just stared at her, waiting to hear what she really wanted. "I've been talking to some party planners. There's a rooftop at the Vela Blue Hotel with an amazing view. We could have floating champagne bars, a live music stage, even a flower fountain." She paused, then smiled like it was no big deal. I looked at my mom. She stayed silent. I looked at my dad. He kept tearing bread. Emily pulled a paper out of her purse. "The total cost is about $95,000. But if we want to make it truly special, we'll need $110,000. That includes video production." I asked calmly, "And you want me to pay for that?" Emily raised an eyebrow. "I mean, you own a hotel. You do not really spend money on yourself," Emily said. "You always wear black. You still drive that old Honda. But I am a content creator. I need to invest in my image. This is part of my career. I gave a dry laugh. Oh, I thought this was a birthday party. My mom gently placed her spoon on the plate. The sound felt loud, like a warning. She looked at me and said, "Emily has a point. You are doing well in life. What is the harm in helping your sister just this once? I remember you once promised to always take care of the family." I turned to her. Take care of the family? Or be a never-ending wallet for fancy parties? My dad finally spoke. Let us not get upset, Hannah. We are just having a calm talk. I nodded. Calm? You all made plans to spend my money without even asking me, and you think that is calm. Emily laughed, the kind of laugh people give when they know others are on their side. Come on, do not act like I am using you. I am not asking for some extra cash. This is an investment. Once the video of the party goes online, I will tag your hotel. I will promote it. We both win. A win for who? I asked, trying to stay calm while my heart was beating fast. I lose $110,000 and you get to feel famous. Sounds like a great deal for you. My mother sighed. I used to think that sound meant she cared. Now, it just sounded like she was disappointed in a way she had practiced many times. Hannah, you are the responsible one, she said. Emily is a dreamer. It is not her fault you were born more practical. Sisters helping each other is normal. That sentence hurt me deeply. I was not seen as a person. I was seen as safety. As money. I was just someone they expected to show up and pay, without any right to say no. I slowly placed my napkin on the table. Sisters help each other when it goes both ways. Not when one gives a bill and says, "Here, you pay." If that is your version of love, then I cannot be a part of it anymore. Emily raised an eyebrow. You are serious? I looked her in the eyes. Yes. Very serious. No one stopped me when I stood up. No one asked me to stay. But just as I reached the door, I heard my mother speak, loud enough for me to hear. The more money that girl has, the colder she becomes. I did not turn around. I did not say a word. In that moment, I realized that I had never really been a daughter to them. I had always been the backup plan. The one who paid the bills when no one else could. I thought nothing could hurt more than being treated like an ATM by your own family, until the next morning. I opened Instagram. A notification popped up. Emily, Rose posted 3 new stories. I had no reason to look. But I did anyway. Old habits are hard to break. The first story showed Emily in a white limo in front of the Vela Blue Hotel. Her hair was done in soft waves. Her lips were red. She held up a glass of champagne like she was on a royal parade. The caption said, "When your sister drives a 2012 Civic but owns a 5-star hotel." Can someone explain this? Below that was the laughing emoji, rolling on the floor. The second clip was a shaky video from a car. My car. I was stepping out of my house, wearing an old coat, my hair in a messy ponytail, holding some papers. Emily had split the screen. On one side was me. On the other, she and her friends at a fancy party. The caption said, "When you invest all your money into land but forget to invest in your image." I did not even need to check the comments. The posts already cut deep. OMG, how can someone be rich and live like that? Stop pretending to be poor, girl. Who would let her handle PR for a hotel? That place is doomed. My ears were ringing. I could only hear my heartbeat. I set my phone on the table, looked up at the ceiling, and whispered the one question that hurt the most. Why? Why, Emily? Why would you do this? I did not post anything back. I did not comment. I did not write a long message or make a video. But something inside me broke. Not a crack. A collapse. Quiet but heavy. Later that morning, Grace, my CFO, and my finance assistant both texted me. "Did you see Emily's new story? Do you want us to respond?" I replied with one word, no. I opened my laptop and tried to work. I looked at the quarterly report, the numbers swimming in front of my eyes. I could not focus. The shame in my chest felt like it was growing. This was not just a family fight anymore. This was a planned, public attack. Emily did not just want my money. She wanted to embarrass me. For years, I thought being ignored by my family was the worst feeling. I used to believe that if I just worked hard, they would finally see me. But this time was different. This time I saw the truth. I was not just ignored anymore. I was being targeted. That night I sat alone at my kitchen table. The soft yellow light above me made the space feel warm. My house was not big or fancy, but every inch of it came from my own work. Every late shift. Every dollar I saved when I was a young clerk working nights. I looked at a photo on the wall, me and Emily as little girls, smiling, holding melting popsicles. I did not take it down. I just stared at it. Then I picked up a pen and started writing. Not a plan for revenge. Not a list of people to blame. Just a simple list. One line. Did they ever love me? Or only what I gave them? Then another. If I lost everything, who would still stay? I did not have the answers yet. But for the first time, I knew I had to start asking. The next morning, I messaged my lawyer. Please do a full check of all personal assets. Make sure no one else can sign anything under my name. This is urgent. This was not about emotions anymore. It was about protecting myself. I used to believe family meant safety. But now I know some relationships, if you do not stop them, will slowly destroy you. And I will not let that happen again. Later that day, I was in a meeting with my team on the third floor of the hotel. Grace gently knocked on the door and peeked in. Hannah, you have a visitor. I looked at the clock. 3:14 p.m. I had not scheduled any meetings. Who is it? I asked. Your mother, she whispered. She won't wait in the lobby. My throat went dry. Send her in, I said, sounding more strict than I meant to, but Grace understood. She nodded and left. Less than a minute later, my mom walked in like she owned the place. She wore a long beige coat, a big expensive purse on her arm, and had makeup that could not hide the look in her eyes. Your assistant is very sweet, she said as she sat down across from me. She placed a small container on the table. I brought your favorite banana bread. Same recipe. Just a bit of cinnamon. Helps with digestion. I did not smile. I did not touch the container. What brings you here, Mom? I asked. She pulled a cream envelope from her purse and gently placed it on the table. Emily's documents, she said like it was nothing. I thought you should take a look. I opened the envelope. Inside the envelope were 3 color-printed pages from an event company called Valeria Events. At the top, in a fancy font, it said, Emily's 30th birthday celebration. But halfway down the second page, one line made my heart stop. Primary sponsor, Hannah Blake, /$112, 500. Confirmed, asterisk. I looked up. Confirmed? Who confirmed this? My mom did not even blink. Emily cannot afford this kind of event. You know your father and I are living on retirement income. You are the only one who can help. Help. I repeated, my voice shaking. You are calling this help? You are forcing me to pay over $100,000 so my sister can post about it online. Do not be dramatic, Hannah, she said while fixing her coat. No one is forcing anything. We just thought you understood your responsibility. Responsibility? I pushed the papers away, feeling my anger rise. Why is it always me? Emily has 2 hands, a brain, and thousands of followers. Why can't she take care of it herself? My mom gave another sigh, like I was a stubborn child. You're the successful one, Hannah. The stable one. The oldest. Let Emily have her moment. You have always been behind the scenes. Why is this different? I stood up. I could not sit there and take it anymore. You know what's different? No one asked me. No one even thought to ask how I felt. You just planned everything and sent me the bill. Does that sound fair to you? It's not unfair, she said calmly, still sitting. It's necessary. You are the reliable one. People count on you, Hannah. That's something to be proud of. I looked at her confused. Not angry now, just realizing something painful. I was not loved. I was used. I picked up the banana bread she had brought, opened the freezer, and shoved it in. What are you doing? She asked, surprised. The freezer, I said softly. That's where things go when they make you feel numb. Then I turned and looked her straight in the eyes. I am not signing anything. I am not paying a single cent. And no plans move forward without my approval. She stood up, her eyes full of disbelief. You have become so cold, Hannah. I nodded. Thanks for noticing. If Valeria Events needs someone to talk to, give them my lawyer's number. And do not bring me any more plans. I am not a walking wallet. She stared at me for a few seconds, then turned and left. No goodbye. No words. Just her strong perfume left behind, and a party budget I never agreed to. I stood alone in the quiet room, sunlight pouring through the windows and lighting up those colorful documents on the table. I did not tear them. I put them in the drawer under my desk and wrote one word in red on the folder: evidence. This was not about family anymore. It was about business. The next Wednesday, I was reviewing a rooftop repair report for the hotel when Grace walked in without knocking. She was holding a thick envelope. "Express delivery from Verity Planning Group," she said flatly, placing it on my desk like it was a bomb. I looked at her. "Who sent it?" Grace smirked. "Chase's assistant. Emily's fiancé." The label said, "For Hannah Blake, personal and financial." I already knew what it was before I opened it, but I opened it anyway. Inside was a formal booking contract from the Aria Sky Lounge, a fancy rooftop venue in the city. It was printed on heavy paper, with gold letters on the cover and a light perfume smell, clearly from someone who had never worried about money. I flipped to page 5. There it was. Financial guarantor, Hannah Blake, sister of the celebrant. Asterisk. Signature required by November 3rd. The fine print said that if Emily failed to pay, I would be legally responsible for everything. I let out a bitter laugh. No call. No message. Not even a question. Just a contract dropped in front of me, expecting me to sign it like I always had. Grace waited to see what I would do. I did not say a word. I slowly slid the whole packet into my drawer, closed it, and locked it. "I am not signing," I figured, Grace said with a tiny smile. "Want me to shred it?" I shook my head. "No. Keep it. Label it financial abuse." Then I opened my laptop and created a new folder, Emily, Legal Evidence. Inside it, I made smaller folders: unauthorized contracts, defamation and online attacks, staff witness notes, event expenses. I scanned every page of the contract carefully and saved them one by one. My hands were calm. I did not flinch. I was not the sad daughter anymore, crying after being called ungrateful. I was not the older sister quietly paying bills to hold the family together. I was the CEO of a company worth nearly $8 million. And for the first time, I was handling my family like I would handle a risky business partner. That afternoon, I sent a short email to the hotel's legal team. Subject ***, deny all unverified personal submissions. Message ***. We do not accept any contracts, agreements, or financial requests from others on behalf of Hannah Blake unless she says so in writing. Anything else should be denied and sent straight to legal. That was the email I sent. Short. Clear. I did not text Emily. I did not call. I said nothing. I let silence do the talking. Silence, when long enough, becomes a wall. And I was building a wall that Emily could not climb with fake tears or demands. 3 days later, Mom messaged me. "Emily says you have not replied. She just wanted to make a beautiful memory." I did not answer. I saved the message in the evidence folder. That evening, as I locked my office, I stood in front of the mirror in the red cypress lounge. My eyes looked tired. My shirt had a wrinkle on the shoulder. One nail was chipped. But my eyes were no longer confused. They were clear. Sharp. Still. Emily had no idea that every time she tried to trap me with a new trick, I was not just stepping back. I was keeping proof. I was creating a legal path. Because this time, if they pushed me, I would not fall. I had the law. I had records. I had myself. The Red Cypress Hotel looked like a dream that day. The sunlight shined through the big windows. White flowers were aligned neatly in the halls. Soft music played upstairs. Emily's birthday party was about to begin on the rooftop. A party she planned at my hotel. Without asking. Without permission. She thought she was being smart. She booked through someone else, hoping I would not speak up. She thought I would stay quiet. But she forgot those were the old rules. Grace walked beside me with a tablet. She showed me the guest list and the plan. Then she pointed to the security screen. 15 minutes ago. Main lobby camera. I looked. There was Emily, walking in proudly with Chase, her boyfriend. Behind them were Chase's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dalton. Rich. Fancy. Important people. They looked around like they were judging everything. Emily led them through the hotel, waving her hand at the chandeliers and staircase like she was showing off her own house. I knew exactly what she was saying. These chandeliers are from Italy. My family is in interior design. Lie. I fixed the sleeve of my blazer, took a deep breath, and started walking down the grand staircase. My heels clicked on the marble with every step. The sound echoed through the room like a quiet warning. Everyone turned to look. Emily stopped talking. Her face froze. I stopped halfway down the stairs and looked straight at her. Welcome to Red Cypress, I said. I'm Hannah Blake, founder and CEO of this hotel. The room went silent. Mrs. Dalton narrowed her eyes. You own this place? I stepped down 2 more stairs, letting the light hit my collar. Yes, I said. From the first brick to every chandelier Emily just claimed was imported. She lied. Chase looked nervous. Emily's face went pale. Mr. Dalton turned to Chase. Your fiancé said this was owned by a family friend. What's going on? Emily stumbled through her words. Hannah is my sister. We're very close. This is just family helping each other. I looked her in the eye. Close? You booked a party here without asking. Put the bill under my name. And then made fun of me online in front of thousands. Everyone was silent. I turned to Mrs. Dalton. I apologize for the confusion. But Red Cypress does not sponsor or represent anyone except our trained team. We are not connected to this event. Mrs. Dalton nodded slowly. Thank you for being honest. I respect people who know their limits and their worth. A rare quality, Mr. Dalton added, eyeing Emily with disappointment. Chase did not say a word. His face said enough. I turned to Grace. Please take the Daltons to the real event space. I will show them around myself. Mrs. Dalton smiled. We would love that. As I walked away, I heard the sound of Emily's high heels behind me. Hannah, wait, she said. You don't need to make a scene. I turned just enough to look at her and said quietly, this is not a scene. This is me, standing where I belong. That night, I went home. No party. No celebration. Just me, my quiet kitchen, and warm yellow light. The silence felt different now. Not sad. Not lonely. Just peaceful. As I made tea, my phone rang. It was Dad. I let it ring 3 times. Then I answered. I'm here. Hey, princess, he said, his voice unsure. I guess you know why I'm calling. I stayed silent. He cleared his throat. About what happened today. Maybe reacted a little too strongly. I frowned. Too strongly. Well, it was Emily's birthday. People were tense. No need to overreact. I sat down, tea still untouched. Were you there, Dad? I was watching. Emily got carried away. But she's still family. No, Dad. That's not family. Family doesn't dump all their problems on one person and call it love. He paused. I just want peace, that's all. No drama. Peace is better. I let out a small, bitter laugh. You call what she did peaceful? Public insults? Booking my hotel behind my back? Lying to guests? She's young, Hannah. She doesn't think like you. No, Dad. She is 30. Not a child. She knew what she was doing. And all of you chose to stay quiet. He softened his voice. I'm sorry if you felt alone. I just hope this doesn't mean you'll cut us off. I stood up, tired in every bone. I'm not cutting anyone off. I'm stepping back. I'm tired of being the one holding everyone together. Hannah, you can't just give up. I'm not giving up. I'm letting go. Of a job I never signed up for. He said nothing. And this time I did not wait. I ended the call. The next day, I got an email from Mom. No subject. No greeting. You may not agree with what Emily did, but the way you embarrassed her in front of her fiancé's family was cruel. Sometimes, being the older sister means sacrificing, even when the other person does not deserve it. That is what keeps a family strong, *. I did not reply. I saved the email in my folder, Emotional manipulation. Phase 2. That night, I drove by our old family house. I slowed down but did not stop. The lights were on. The grass was cut. The wind moved the trees just like always. But for the first time in my life, I felt nothing. No sadness. No longing. No need to go back. I used to think if I worked hard enough, gave enough, succeeded enough, they would finally see me. But now I know. They saw me all along. They just never really saw me as family. They would appreciate me. They would love me. That is what I used to believe. But now I understand. Some families do not need you to be happy. They just need you to be useful. And once I stopped being useful, I was finally free. 2 weeks after Emily's outburst, my life became quiet. Not sad, just quiet. No more demanding messages. No more late-night calls pretending to care. No more people showing up only when they needed something. For the first time in years, I could breathe. On a calm Tuesday morning, I sat in my office on the 5th floor. I had coffee in one hand, and my laptop open with plans for our new hotel in San Antonio. Then Grace walked in, no knock this time. She was holding her iPad. "You'll want to see this," she said. The moment I took it and saw the screen light up, I already knew. It was a TikTok video. And it was going viral. Emily sat in Mom's living room, no makeup, no filters. Her eyes were swollen. Her voice shaking. "I was overconfident," she said. "I thought I could control everything. I relied on others instead of being responsible." She never said my name, but everyone knew who she meant. The comments split into two sides. One group felt bad for her. The other group saw right through it. "Weren't you the one mocking your sister online? Asterisk. Thought being an influencer meant no consequences. Asterisk. Hannah is the real one to admire here. Asterisk." But I did not feel proud. I did not feel pity. I felt light, like I had been carrying a backpack full of stones. And now I had simply set it down. Not because someone helped me, but because I chose to let it go. A few days later, the media team sent their report. We had a 17% increase in bookings and event inquiries at Red Cypress. New business partners, including the Daltons, reached out for long-term deals. One of them wrote, "We're impressed not just by the hotel's quality, but by the calm confidence and personal integrity of Miss Hannah Blake. People like her make a difference in this industry." Asterisk. I read that line again. And again. Not because I needed praise, but because, for the first time, I was seen clearly. Not as the helper. Not as the fixer. Just as me. One night, I drove through the West End. I passed by my old apartment, the one I lived in when I was just starting out. It was a bakery now. I smiled softly. I did not stop. No sadness. No memories pulling me back. Just peace. I do not need an apology from my mother. I do not need Emily to cry and say sorry. Because I finally learned something. Peace does not come from someone else's regret. It comes the moment you decide to treat yourself like someone who matters. I used to try so hard to make everyone happy. To carry every burden just because I was the oldest. To say yes even when it broke me. But in the end, it was my silence that allowed the disrespect. My kindness that became the floor others walked on. Not anymore. Now I know how to say no. No reasons. No guilt. Just no. I still love my family. In my own way. But I love myself more. And that is not selfish. That is awakening. That weekend, I sat on my porch with a glass of wine. The Texas sunset painted the sky red and gold. No one called. No one texted. Just the wind. And the sound of my own soul exhaling. I did not win by getting revenge. I won by walking away. Out of the old patterns. Out of the fake peace. Out of the guilt that kept me trapped. And I walked forward in quiet shoes, steady steps, with unshakable belief. This life? It is mine now. Finally. Period. And begin. Asterisk asterisk. Hannah's story reminds us that not every family is a safe place. Asterisk asterisk. Sometimes you are only loved for what you can give, not for who you are. She learned something powerful. Silence is not always love. Sometimes silence is the trap that swallows kind people whole. Only when Hannah stopped seeking love from people who never saw her did she truly begin to live. Because peace does not come from someone else's tears. It comes the moment you set boundaries and finally choose yourself. Have you ever been where Hannah was? Giving too much? Stretching too thin for family? Losing yourself just to keep things together? Share your thoughts below. And follow this channel for more powerful, true life stories that hit the heart.